On 7's Gold Coast News, free for Christmas, thousands to be released from quarantine early as cases and testing queues soar. Emotions high in Southport Court as a man accused of a savage one-punch attack makes a bid for freedom. Tourists caught up in a terrifying road rage incident. See the exclusive pictures. A record-breaking tourism wave and living with COVID, the Mayor's outlook for 2022, our exclusive interview. And Christmas in Currumbin, an entire estate lights up.
Live from the Gold Coast, 7 News with Amanda Abate.
Good evening. An increase in COVID cases and interstate travellers have caused major delays at city's testing clinics today. But as the virus spreads through our community, there is some good news for families stuck in quarantine.
2 by 2 inching forward painfully slowly after hours stuck behind the wheel. Queues of cars snaking around Westfield Helensvale's COVID testing site.
There have been 34,518 COVID-19 tests completed yesterday.
Testing numbers have exploded as our city is flooded with interstate arrivals in the lead up to Christmas, like Noah Sampson and his family from Canberra.
We all have to be because we're all casual.
After arriving for a holiday, they found out they'd visited an exposure site.
Hopefully we don't get stuck. Because we'll be here for 2 weeks.
At Ferry Road, a traffic warning was issued this morning following major congestion.
50 minutes, not too bad. I've heard it's quite a bit of a wait at the hospital.
The entire left lane blocked by cars.
We were way up around the corner, so we've progressed a little bit.
As Queensland's vaccination rate hits 90% first dosed.
For fully vaccinated close contacts of COVID-19 patients, the quarantine period will be halved.
An early Christmas present for families exposed to cases at Mudgeeraba and Broadbeach, who looked as if they'd need to spend Christmas in isolation.
They'll need to get a test on day 0 and on day 5 of the quarantine period, and also if they get any symptoms.
Unvaccinated contacts will still need to complete the full fortnight. The Prime Minister today revealed he is looking at making a potential change to one of the most important COVID measures. Scott Morrison revealed he's looking at reclassifying being fully vaccinated as triple dosed. Amanda, it's likely he'll raise that issue with our Premier at tomorrow's National Cabinet meeting.
Buzzing with interstate tourists, with more than 10,000 passengers arriving at the Gold Coast Airport every day since the border reopened. The influx is great news for operators, reaping the rewards ahead of Christmas.
Cooped up, now catching waves. Interstate travellers arriving in droves to experience our city. In the past 4 days, 44,000 people have arrived at the Gold Coast Airport.
It feels so great, just to be away, get on a plane and then when we came through to a hotel, it was really nice.
The flow-on felt right across the city, most accommodations above 80% occupancy.
Occupancy at the moment is fantastic. We're operating at 98% today, and most days we're full or very close to it, so it's a really great time of year.
Theme parks finally welcoming back crowds too.
It's been really nice to see the park full. We've got our brand new Steel Taipan attraction. We've seen lots of guests enjoying it.
Even as COVID spreads through the community, confidence is high. Travellers still eager to get out and explore post-lockdowns.
It is a concern, but I'm not paranoid about it. I mean, it is what it is. The country's got to get back to normal.
Although the city is already buzzing, Christmas Eve until the 7th of January is set to be our peak visitor period, worth $280 million to the local economy. One industry that hasn't returned: cruises. This surfers paradise couple taking drastic measures to get their fix. On Boxing Day, they'll travel to the United States to embark on 6 back-to-back cruises.
And there doesn't seem to be an end in sight because we can't get a roadmap back to cruising.
As the industry recovers one step at a time. Georgia Costi, 7 Gold Coast News.
To the latest COVID figures now, and there were 79 new local cases in Queensland today with 6 new infections from interstate. New South Wales recorded more than 3,000 new cases. The Gold Coast vaccination rate is slightly behind the state's 88.9% of locals have had one dose. A family on holiday from Canberra have told 7 News they've been caught up in a terrifying road rage incident. The parents and their daughter were driving along Smith Street this morning when they pulled out in front of a Mercedes. They claim the man in that vehicle approached them and sprayed an aerosol substance in their vehicle. Police questioned everyone involved but haven't laid any charges. A young father accused of a one-punch attack in Surfers Paradise has been released on bail. Kate Ryan, there were emotional scenes in court this morning.
Amanda, O'Shea Tuiasa's father wept in the gallery when the magistrate decided to free his son, embracing the 26-year-old as he walked free from the Southport Watch House this afternoon. It's alleged the former representative league player punched a 39-year-old man early on Sunday morning, causing him to fall and hit his head on concrete. The court heard there was an altercation between the victim and a female member of the accused and a female member of the family of the accused moments before the alleged attack. How he's going to plead?
Not at this stage.
The victim is clinging to life in the Gold Coast University Hospital with a severe traumatic brain injury. If he doesn't survive, Tuiasa's charges could be upgraded.
Okay, thank you, Kate. 3 men have been stabbed at a house party in Ormeau. Critical care paramedics were called to the home on Dahlia Crescent just after 9:30 last night. 3 men in their 20s, 30s and 40s were taken to the Gold Coast University Hospital with various injuries. The victims are all known to each other. The incident hasn't been reported to police. Exploding batteries are being blamed for a fire emergency in Ormeau this morning. Police say the gel blaster batteries were charging at the house on Mobbs Place when they ignited around 7 o'clock. The blaze was extinguished quickly and nobody was injured. Well, it's been a tough year for the Gold Coast, so what's the outlook for 2022? Steve Titmus sits down with Mayor Tom Tate. His exclusive interview is next. Why some residents were turned away from a local tip. And we take a tour of Currumbin's stunning new Christmas display.
We all need to know what's going on around us.
This dramatic rescue at Dongleby this afternoon will break into programs live, so you're the first to know.
We interrupt programming to bring you breaking news.
When you're on 7, you'll always know the news.
Know the news with 7 News, Queensland's #1.
2021 has been a year like no other, the pandemic all but destroying our tourism industry. But Mayor Tom Tate says we've weathered an almighty storm and are set up well for next year as we prepare to live with COVID. Steve Titmus sat down with him in an exclusive interview.
A year of variables, a year when so much was out of the control of local government.
And what happens then, we lose the hope because the uncertainty sets in. And that's the part I feel the hardest for businesses on the Gold Coast.
Queensland, and particularly the Gold Coast, has been one of the safest places in the world in this past 12 months. How much is that going to be as an asset to us as we head into 2022?
You know, people coming over, they will talk about Sydney, and the next city they talk about is the Gold Coast. Now, that hasn't happened before. Before that would be Melbourne, Brisbane, even Adelaide.
He predicts visitors will set records.
There'll be more tourists here in 2022. I believe there'll be more tourists here in 2022 than 2019 pre-COVID.
Resilience is a word that comes to mind with how great the local business community has been. Has that set them up well for 2022?
You know, it's learning to live with COVID is going to be key for maintaining our livelihood. There's been 7 deaths in Queensland. In Australia, we lose 30,000 people a year on various things.
Tom Tate says the community must learn to live with COVID.
What is the measure of people of mental illness committing suicide due to quarantine, loss of jobs, loss of business? There'll be more people who lose their life on COVID, but there'll be less people losing their life on health and other suicidal issues.
Tom Tate predicts education, IT and the movie industry to be the stars for employment growth next year.
Optimistic And I'm the sort of person who turns a lemon into lemonade, Steve, and the year is the year of the lemonade.
His Christmas message:
give each other a good hug and enjoy the spirit of Christmas.
Tom, Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Steve. Merry Christmas to you too.
8 patients have been assessed by paramedics after being struck by a falling tree branch at the Broadwater Tourist Park last night. It happened around 6 o'clock inside the City Run Park off Marine Parade. A woman in her 40s was taken to the University Hospital with a back injury. Council says the tree will be removed as a precaution. Some local tips have had to turn residents away as they struggle to keep up with demand. Locals are spending the lead up to Christmas cleaning up around the house, putting pressure on council facilities.
At the Mollendina Tip, a long line of traffic.
Oh man, it's out of control. I thought it would be a lot quieter.
Vehicles and trailers loaded with rubbish.
Renos. Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Many doing a pre-Christmas clean out.
Helping the folks out too, actually. And my neighbour. So how good am I?
You're good. Tip workers are struggling to keep up. At Mollendina yesterday, a waste crusher also broke down.
When you do have breakdowns like that, you just have to turn people away and just ask them to go to another centre.
Adding to delays and frustration, some staff reportedly abused.
It's really disappointing to hear that people are aggressive to staff. They're just there doing their job.
Council has warned over the next few days and weeks, tips will be busy across the city, and it's likely that other facilities will also reach capacity from time to time. You can find your closest waste and recycling centre online. Council owns and operates 13 across the city, from Stapleton to Springbrook.
Maybe if it's not urgent, maybe just leave it till after Christmas.
Or pack your patience. Carly Madsen, 7 Gold Coast News.
Coming up soon, Christmas arrives at Currumbin. See inside the entire estate that's transformed, giving local families the perfect place to snap a festive photo. The full story is later in the bulletin. The time now for sport with Ben Davis. And Ben, one young Titan says he can't avoid the gym any longer.
Yeah, that's right, Amanda. Jayden Campbell's plan to get better and bigger is next. Plus, an Olympian's stunning return to BMX racing at Nerang after heartbreak and hurts in Tokyo. And a local boxer prepares to climb back into world title contention.
Know every critical development.
Shaping up as our first big super spreader event.
Strongly recommended. Queenslanders wear masks.
You'll know every breaking moment.
Engine failure is suspected.
$200 million increase on last year.
7 News, Queensland's #1.
Titans young gun Jayden Campbell's never been bothered by being the smallest player on the field, but the slightly built fullback's hell-bent on adding size, with the pressure also set to grow in his second season of NRL.
There's not much to him, yet Jayden Campbell plays without fear.
And here comes Campbell! Jayden Campbell!
My papa always says we're footy players, not bodybuilders, so yeah, it doesn't really faze me.
Like Father Preston, he seemed undersized for the NRL, his small frame constantly referenced across his debut season, all despite his electrifying play.
Now Campbell sees some space, fresh air in front of him.
It's not so much proving them wrong, it's just showing people that little fellas can still play footy with the big boys.
Still, the 21-year-old has set a goal of packing on 7 kilograms this pre-season.
My first 2 pre-seasons I sort of hit a little bit when it comes to the gym, but I can't really hide anymore.
Certainly now, with the competition aware of his ability and a full-time stint at fullback waiting for him in 2022.
That #1 spot is mine at the moment, so I just got to keep training hard and hopefully put in good performances. So probably my defence. That needs a lot of working on, but also just ball playing as well.
Mitchell Crone, 7 Gold Coast News.
An Olympian's taken out top honours at the Nerang BMX track. Saya Sakakibara claiming her first elite Australian title yesterday afternoon. It marked a stunning return after a horror crash in Tokyo. She dominated all of her races.
As soon as I got onto this track, I think it's like a familiarity, awesome vibe of the Gold Coast, and I was just able to feel like myself again.
Nerang clubman Isaac Kennedy equally as imposing, defending his men's title.
It's been a
a pretty good year and a tough year at the same time, but this is a really good way to finish it off.
Both riders also won their respective Superclass titles. And Kingscliff boxer Andrew Maloney is taking his first steps towards climbing back to the top. Tonight, he faces Filipino Frolan Soledad in Sydney, 4 months on from his ill-fated world title bout with Joshua Franco. It's Maloney's first appearance in Australia since becoming world champ back in 2019. We wish him well, Amanda. That's our Look at Tuesday Sport.
Okay, thank you very much, Ben. One of Australia's biggest musical acts is returning to the Gold Coast. The Wiggles will be performing 2 shows at Dreamworld on the 12th of January. The concerts will mark the group's 30th anniversary and Dreamworld's 40th birthday.
You'll see some old faces, some familiar faces, and some brand new wiggly faces.
The concerts are free for Dreamworld ticket holders. Coming up after the break, see inside Currumbin's creative Christmas display, how it's raising money for a worthwhile cause.
And staying sunny tomorrow before some rain returns later in the week. I'll have the forecast coming up next.
The Gold Coast is making the switch to 7 News, and we want you to be a part of it. If there's a local issue that needs attention or something's happening in your suburb, in your street, we want to know about it. Give us a call, send us a message, or drop us an email.
Tucked away in the Currumbin Valley, a hidden Christmas wonderland is waiting to be discovered. For the next 3 nights, the Valley Estate has swapped weddings for Santa.
Behind the gates, the trumpets have sounded. The elves are misbehaving. 2 geese are laying in the grounds of the Valley Estate.
It's actually indescribable. It's colourful, it's beautiful. There's installations that I've, out of this world.
For the next 3 nights, the owners will say I do to everything Christmas. There's giant gingerbread men and candy canes, Santa's workshop in fine detail, even summer snow in a magical elves' den. It's dazzling by day, spectacular by night.
It's open to the public. There's limited tickets left, but you can jump on the website at thevalleyestate.com.au and grab your tickets.
For $55, you can bring the whole family. In true Christmas spirit, all of the profits will go to the Starlight Foundation, a group of children getting their own special tour of the grounds tonight. Today, staff put the finishing touches on the display, 3 months in the making. The presents under the tree have been stocked. The adults also not forgotten.
There's also going to be food carts. There's lots of food available, wine carts, beer carts.
Bringing Christmas to the coast early. Kate Ryan, 7 Gold Coast News.
Katrina Blowers is here now with the top stories coming up soon in the news at 6.
Amanda, coming up, changes to Queensland's quarantine requirements fast-tracked as the state records its highest number of daily COVID cases. A mum's heartbreaking tribute to her 2 children killed in a light plane crash at Redcliffe. $1 million worth of silver missing in a mysterious truck heist. The Queen cancels her traditional Christmas at Sandringham as COVID cases continue to rise across the UK. A new campaign launched in a bid to prevent the most common cancer in the country. How drones are being used to grow new homes for koalas. And Emma the Wiggles' last public appearance before she hangs up the yellow skivvy. Amanda, all those details in 7 News at 6.
Thanks, Katrina. Weather time now. And Tony, how long will this sunshine hang around?
Oh, Amanda, one more day of mostly sunny skies, then we will start to see a bit more cloud thicken from Thursday, and that does herald the start of a wetter few days, yes, including Christmas. I'll have more on that in a moment. But first to the current conditions at Helensvale. It's 28 degrees with light winds out of the north-northeast. Across the coast today, plenty of sunshine broken up in places by some wispy high-level cloud. It was a humid night and hot day. Nerang and Yatala led the way on 35 degrees, and even Burleigh pushed up to 32. To the satellite, and it's all settled along the Queensland coast with storms building well inland, but the steering winds in the upper atmosphere are pushing them further inland so they won't reach the coast. Tomorrow, a similar pattern, staying quiet right on the coast with storms firing away on and west of the ranges. That pattern changes from Thursday though as those steering winds start to push inland rain towards coastal areas. So for tomorrow, staying mostly sunny with cloud possibly thickening late afternoon and staying hot. 21 to 30 degrees at Coolangatta, 32 in Nerang. In the city, a mostly sunny Wednesday ahead. Keep that sunscreen handy. The UV up at extreme levels, 21 up to 31 degrees. Now, if you're keen to take the boat out, north-northeast winds on the way, 10 to 15 knots for the most part, though inshore winds could nudge closer to 20 knots through the late afternoon. Now, checking today's surf and only small waves on offer here at Narrow Neck. It did help if you had a craft with a bit more volume. Those onshore winds brought a bit of chop through the afternoon. Tomorrow, not too much change. Small knee to waist-high waves continue. Try those northern pockets like the Spit early on the incoming tide. Then into Thursday, we're looking at a dry morning before showers pick up into the afternoon. Friday looks to be the wettest day of the next week with frequent showers and a possible storm, dropping back to 28 degrees. Then it eases back a little bit for Christmas Day. Still a couple of showers and the odd dry break, a top of 29 degrees. Those showers are then set to pick up again around next Monday and Tuesday. So Amanda, it couldn't hurt to keep a couple of indoor activities handy for Christmas.
Yes, might have to do that. Thank you, Tony. And that's the Gold Coast News for this Tuesday. We'll be back tomorrow night at 5:30, but stay with us now for the 6 o'clock news with Katrina. Have a great night.